I first met the ex-Lamborghini Lotus dealer, Bill Nuccio, from Chicago in 1988, some 37 years ago. And we've been dear friends ever since. Enjoy spending time together, countless business arrangements through the years. And Bill called me about 3 or 4 years ago. I've got a friend at church that I've come to know for 10 years that has an old car he wants to sell. I don't know the details, but I'll find out and I'll get back to you. So he lets me know some days later that the car is stored in Cincinnati, Ohio, in a storage facility, and it's some kind of an Alfa Romeo from pre-war in the 30s potentially. And so he connects me to his friend that owns the car, and I agree to meet him in Cincinnati. I happen to be going to Columbus, Ohio, to visit my son, and then that weekend we were traveling to Louisville, Kentucky, to Bluegrass Motorsports and see Jim Haynes and talk to him about dry ice and show him his Porsche that we stripped the paint off with dry ice. So midway, we met this gentleman, and I saw this car for the very first time with an old storage facility. I bet 30, 40 years old the facility was. And they couldn't get the door all the way open. When we pulled up, the door was halfway up. You can see half of the radiator maybe. And it was 40 degrees, a little breezy, 4 in the afternoon, getting dark, and misting. Lovely weather. And of course, I've got my son and my wife with me, and a classic car guy move where I'm detracting from the trip to get to Louisville. And so they're not happy that I have taken this little sidestep. And when my wife sees this car, with 4 flat tires, peeking in under the door, she looks like one of those persons on an aircraft carrier waving the plane to go by. She's in the background. The antics are, the cutting the throat motion and making the X, like, no, you're not buying this car. But I fall in love with it, and I like the guy tremendously. He imported this car in 1964. College roommates convinced him he could make some money importing cars from England. So he bought this car in 1964, shipped it over here. You'll see it's got a 1500 series crankcase plate here, but that's because the car was in a little bit of an accident earlier in its life, and they replaced the crankcase. The rest of these parts are all 1900 6C parts. We pulled some valve covers off and checked the stamp numbers and such. So the grill of the original car is now missing, but he basically sold us the car without really knowing what it was and for too little money. So we got it home, and I patched things up with my wife and son, and I called Bill and I said, Bill, we have to call the owner that we bought this car from. Now that I've done some homework on it, it's more valuable than he understood. And it's just not right that we would continue on from this point. So even after documenting what the car is and investing some money, we called this owner that had it since 1964, and even though we paid him for the price that he wanted, we made him a 1/3 partner. So whatever the car sells for above what we paid him, we're going to split it a third, a third, a third. And this is the kind of stuff that I love doing in the latter part of my career. Now 45 years, we've been playing with stuff like this. So I hope you enjoy it. There'll be more to follow. We've done a lot of homework on this. We did find the car in period original pictures, and we'll get to it, and stay tuned. I hope you enjoy.